Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today we're going to be talking about Battlefield 4 CTE and what they're working on, plus what we can expect to see in the upcoming spring patch. This is in the final stages of development, so we should be seeing a pretty big patch from the DICE team soon. Now I gotta say that overall CTE, that's Community Test Environment, for those of you not familiar with it, has been a great breakthrough for EA and DICE in terms of just updating and keeping the community in the loop with what's going on with Battlefield games. I mean, if you compare it to, say, the Battlefield 3 lifespan, this has been a much better experience in terms of knowing what the devs are currently working on, being able to experience it ahead of time so you actually know what's going to be in the next patch, and always being updated on what's going on. It's just great being kept in the loop. It's good for the community, it's good for instantaneous feedback, and basically knowing if your patch is going to be a good patch before it actually comes out. Now what I'd like to do is give you kind of a blanket statement of some of the cooler things that they're working on in CTE right now, and some of the things that hopefully we can expect in the next patch, and then also talk about some of the most influential changes that they're making, one that has to do with the damage model on most weapons. Now, a cool thing that they're working on right now, which is really essential to the game itself, is creating a skill-based team balancer that considers squads and friends and minimizes lopsided games in our most popular game modes. I think we definitely all have experiences of playing Battlefield on a lopsided team where all the good players just flock to one team. I don't really understand that concept when you join a game and your team's losing, and instead of trying to help the losing team or rally the forces and fight back for an awesome comeback, you instead switch to the winning team. It makes no sense to me. It's so weird, and it's really annoying to see especially high-ranking players all try and switch to one team. But alas, that's really more of an issue with the human condition and not Battlefield itself. So rather than trying to fix the human condition, they will put in a auto team balancer that hopefully does everything that we want it to do. And this is something that I think if they do properly and everybody's happy with it, they can implement the system in all subsequent Battlefield games, or even all their subsequent shooters after that, because it's something that's really essential to any shooter out there. Now DICE is also looking over all the anti-aircraft weaponry that goes from the AA tank to stingers to any sort of lock-on weapon that can shoot down an aircraft. They're rebalancing it all because they've updated the flight model recently, so now the new physical abilities of airplanes and helicopters have to match up with the abilities of their weapons. So they're re-looking at all of that. There's going to be a ton of changes, and really I'll cover that more when the actual patch comes out and we have our concrete fixes in. Now, aside from all the different community map projects that DICE has been working on, and they all look really cool, they've been working a lot on updating the netcode in much more significant ways. Now, this has been an ongoing subject of Battlefield 4. Since the day it was launched till present, netcode has been a hot topic issue for Battlefield 4, and it's never ever felt quite right all around. Apparently, the latest CTE changes have really made a lot of improvements, and they're even experimenting with 60 tick rate servers and 120 hertz servers. And 120 is really the gold standard when it comes to competitive shooters. If they can pull this off consistently, then they're going to be in the market competing with Counter-Strike on that level in terms of just how snappy and responsive their netcode is. And that'll be amazing if they can actually pull it off, but that is certainly not coming out in the spring patch. I think they've got quite a bit more testing to do with it. Now, aside from the actual tick rate, there's been a lot of other back-end stuff being done with the netcode to try and make things feel snappier, more responsive, less laggy, all that stuff. If you actually want to see it for yourself, you can go download CTE, and in fact, if you play CTE, you work on progression to unlocking special custom CTE dog tags, so that can be a cool little reward if you actually want to work towards those. Now let's talk a little bit about the weapon damage tweaking that's going to affect the game fairly drastically. First of all, they're changing up the suppression system a bit so that suppression will actually not affect players that are in close range to somebody else shooting at them. So basically, your suppression takes into effect once your gun has hit its maximum damage drop-off multiplier, and at that point it'll start suppressing its targets. So this basically means that you're not going to be affecting your opponent's accuracy if you're in a close quarters battle with them. And this really does sound like the ultimate and final update to the suppression system in Battlefield. It should be working as the devs intended and not being exploited in close quarter battles to screw with your opponent's aim. Shotguns are also getting a very cool update. They're trying to make them much more consistent weapons, and I couldn't agree more with this philosophy. They are highly inconsistent consistent as it is right now. So what they're doing is they're actually adding a lot more pellets to the weapon and reducing the damage per pellet. So you're going to have a more even spread when you shoot them. They're also giving them much better damage drop off, and I don't believe that drop off is going to start till about 25 meters away. So within 25 meters or closer, you should be getting extremely consistent kills. And this is great news. The shotguns have needed a lot of love in BF4 for a long time, especially considering how long range this game is. In general, shotguns have always been a very difficult weapon to use. And their cone of fire is also getting tweaked. So if you're an avid shotgun user, this spring patch is totally going to change your world, and probably for the better. Bolt action sniper rifles are seeing a huge number of changes. I mean, I could go over all of them, but there's too many to list here, and I'll go over them more specifically in a video once the patch actually comes out and we know exactly what's going to make the cut. But they're messing with magazine counts for bolt action rifles, they're messing with bullet drop off, they're messing with muzzle velocity, they're messing with just about everything. So there's going to be a huge number of changes coming in that department. Now, the biggest change that I really want to talk about, and I've kind of saved it for last, is the fact that most weapons in the game, just about all your standard weapons that don't have any sort of special properties, are getting a 2.13 headshot multiplier. This is going to apply to carbines, assault rifles, probably most of the LMGs, PDWs, and it's basically designed to allow you to get a 2-shot headshot kill with, say, a gun that does 24 damage maximum. So before, you had to shoot them 3 times in the head with a 24 max damage gun in close quarters. This is going to allow you to do it with 2 shots. This is a really big deal because not only is it going to reward just the average player for aiming for the head much more, but it's also going to allow weapons like the AN-94 to get a 2-round burst kill in CQB. And this is going to be a really, really cool update to the game. It's probably going to speed up a lot of your firefights in general. I would say a lot of players probably get at least 1 headshot mixed into their general spray of fire. And so if that 1 headshot is doing bonus damage, it's probably going to lower your time to kill by 1 shot. So this is going to be a very, very big update to the game, and I can't wait to test it out in the full retail version. Anyway, that spring patch is in the final phase of testing, and if you want to try it out and try out all the cool new features, you can do that in CTE right now. Can't wait till it's launched. I got plenty more updates as soon as this patch is out. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.